Another day, another NFL Top 100 list. What's going on, football fans? It's Mitch, back with another NFL reaction video. And in this video, it's Pro Football Network's Top 100 Players of 2024. It feels like everybody has an NFL Top 100. So I don't know, should I make my own NFL Top 100 at this point? Let's say if we get 100 likes on this video, I will make my Top 100 list. And my goal for this video is to figure out whether or not Pro Football Network has the best Top 100 that I've seen so far. Will they shine on the bottom line is the question. Gronk spike the like button, 100 of those for my top 100. Subscribe for more NFL reactions just like this. I'm having so much fun with it, guys. And comment your opinion in the comment section below. What do you think of Pro Football Network's top 100 players? Let's go. Let's react, man. Let's have some fun. So, we have Pro Football Network's Top 100 NFL Players of 2024. Pro Football Network is ranking the NFL's top 100 players entering 2024 season. Where do stars like Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, and Justin Jefferson land? This was released 2 days ago, July 15th, 2024. I'm reacting on Wednesday, July 17th. Let's have some fun, man. We've got written by Dallas Robinson. No offense, I have no idea who that is. He probably doesn't know who I am either. What does he say? Determining the top 100 NFL players entering the 2024 season is a daunting challenge. While the choice at number one might be simple, sifting through the rest of the league, a league chock full of talented players at every position, is a tall task. Pro Football Network's NFL staff voted on the league's 100 best players. So this wasn't just a list made by Mr. Dallas Robinson. It was made by the entire staff at Pro Football Network, who's been gaining a little bit of steam, I believe, as of late, that network. Ranking the most talented and productive athletes from every team. From future Hall of Famers and perennial All-Pros to emerging stars full of potential. Here are the NFL's top 100 players ahead of the 2024 campaign. All right, so we're just going to go in order of how the website has it, which is 1 to 100. Although, if they knew anything about content, they would put it in opposite order. But regardless, let's go. Patrick Mahomes at number 1. Wow, I'm shocked. Okay. Already considered one of the best players in NFL history, Patrick Mahomes is the top player in the league heading into 2024. A 3-time Super Bowl winner and 2-time league MVP through 6 NFL campaigns. Mahomes has a path to becoming the greatest player in NFL record books. Never for me, but that's okay. I will say, and I've actually brought this up before, there's nothing I can't say about Patrick Mahomes. Everybody is saying how great he is. There's literally nothing I can say at this point. I've talked about it a million times on these reactions. The one thing I will say is, if the Chiefs do not win the Super Bowl last year, where does he rank on this list? That is my question to everyone in the comments. Because Mahomes objectively had the worst regular season of his career. And now that was heavily influenced by his personnel around him, but it's still a fact, right? So where does Mahomes rank, let's say, if they lose to the Bills or the Ravens in the playoffs? Because there's nothing else we could talk about here. We all know he's number 1. It's obvious. But would he be number 1 if they lost in the playoffs? Because I think people would have looked at his season differently. They would have said, that was his worst season of his career. He's not the same player. He's regressing. He's done. He's finished. How could he ever become Tom Brady, right? So just saying how drastic things change in this league. At number 2, Myles Garrett. Although he somehow never received a single vote for Defensive Player of the Year until 2022, Myles Garrett walked away with the award after serving as the best player on the NFL defensive side in 2023, put up 14 sacks, tied for the 7th most in the league, 30 QB hits, and 89 total pressures, while consistently facing double teams. I think what helped him win this award is the fact that the Browns were the number 1 defense in a majority of statistics for a majority of the NFL season. It really wasn't to do with the individual accolades, because if you were to say, like, okay, sacks, TJ Watt, right? Pressures, okay, maybe Max Crosby or Nick Bosa had more, I believe. I'm just saying, if you check the Pro Football Focus database, whichever way you pronounce it, Myles Garrett at number 2 is fine, but here's the thing. I don't think he's definitively the best player at his position, personally. I actually don't. I might not even rank him number 1 when I get to my edge rankings. But hey, man, that's just my opinion. You guys let me know who the number 2 player is in the NFL. I have my own opinion on that, but you might have to wait until my NFL Top 100 list for that. 100 likes! 100 likes! Number 3, Lamar Jackson. I disagree because I don't think he's the second best quarterback in the league, and you guys know this because I ranked him number 4 or number 3. Number 4, I think, right? On my list. So, but either way, he's number 3 or number 4 for me. So, obviously, I would not have him 3rd in the NFL. And I think to do a top 100, you have to somewhat throw out the value of the quarterback position. You have to definitively kind of like do it without position value, to be fair. Also, Lamar Jackson did win the MVP, so I'm not going to like get up here on my high horse and say, oh, this is the worst ranking I've ever seen. It definitely is not the worst ranking I've ever seen. I just would not say entering 2024, he's the second best quarterback, and I would not say he's the 3rd best overall player. But they do say that Lamar Jackson became just the 11th player to win an MVP award after an electric 2023 campaign in which he appeared more comfortable as a passer than he had in several seasons. Just the 11th NFL player to win multiple. I missed the multiple word. That makes more sense. He ranked 3rd in adjusted net yards per attempt and 4th in QBR. When you're having to use adjusted net yards per attempt and QBR as main statistics, and he's not even in the top 2 in either of those statistics, I think I understand why I don't love Lamar Jackson winning the MVP award. That's just my opinion. Bro, you can hate all you want. I'm not a Ravens hater. I love Lamar. I think he's a great player. I've always loved Lamar. But he had objectively one of the strangest MVP cases I have ever seen. Just honestly. Like, statistically speaking, we gave MVPs to Matt Ryan because he had great stats in 2016, although everybody knew that Tom Brady was better. Everybody knew Aaron Rodgers was better. Right? We've given awards to players because of stats in recent years, and yet, you know, Lamar kind of won it despite the normal counting stats. You know what I mean? So just saying. But I think Lamar's great. I just think he kind of had a kind of a phony MVP. But Peyton Manning had a couple of those too. Number 4, Micah Parsons is interesting at number 4. I don't think he's a number 4. Personally, I honestly think I'll have 2 or 3 or 4 edge rushers ahead of him. I like Micah Parsons. Again, this is very small margins, right? But I don't know, man. Based on last year, I don't know if he deserves it. Now, while Micah Parsons, 14 sacks ranked, just tied for 7th. Again, he loves the 14 sack stat for some reason. Pressures are more indicative of the performance than pure sacks. Parsons led the league with 102 pressures per PFF. Okay, there you go. I actually didn't think that was the case. I thought it was Bosa, but I could be wrong. He finished 1st in pass rush win rate, 37%, despite being double-teamed at a higher rate, 34%. I could make an argument that he might be the most disruptive pass rusher in the league. You could make an argument for that. I think the things that other guys do better, I think, have like more of other players, I think, are better at forcing turnovers. I think other players are better at pure sacks, getting to the quarterback, taking him down. I think other players might be better at run defense than Parsons, but Parsons as a pure disruptor of the pass is elite. elite, all-time special. His explosiveness, his speed, his hunger to get that football, the motor is off the charts. Number 5, Christian McCaffrey, who I've said it once, I'll say it again. Name a player who more definitively in the NFL right now is the best at their position than Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey is by far the best running back in the NFL. For that alone, he is top 5. But I think you could make an argument he's top 3. The gap between Christian McCaffrey and the rest of the NFL running backs may be the widest. There you go. Bro, I didn't even read the sentence, and he said the exact same thing as me. CMC posted 2,023 yards from scrimmage. Guys, go check out my running back rankings. 32 to number 1. Despite sitting out week 18, no other running back put more than 1,600 yards. Guys, read this. This is a good stat, 4,000 more yards than the next running back. Total. 21 touchdowns tied for the league lead. Generated more first downs in the passing and the running game than any other running back. How can you not have this guy higher based on those stats alone, guys? I get he's a running back, but still. Number 6, Justin Jefferson. I would disagree. I think Tyreek Hill deserves to be higher than Justin Jefferson. He had a better season in 2023. In many metrics, you look at this, Tyreek Hill led the NFL in receiving yards, receiving touchdowns, and finished second in receptions. Now, also, his yards per route run is astounding. I agree. This is a huge stat. I brought this up in my wide receiver rankings, which will be released on Thursday. His efficiency was astounding as his 3.85 yards per route run mark blew the modern record out of the water. It was actually 0.7 yards ahead of number 2, Nico Collins. Just saying. I know that off the top of my head. Okay? Don't hate the player, hate the game. But Justin Jefferson may have been the best receiver. Arguably, right? Tyreek was right there in 2022. So just the fact that Tyreek was healthy and put up these numbers, and you even look at the yards per route run, you look at yards per game, you look at touchdowns, all these metrics, Hill was better than Jefferson last year, period. Right? And Jefferson is amazing. He's a top 10 player in the NFL, no debate. But Tyreek Hill is arguably the more impactful player and statistically the better player last year. So I don't know where there is an argument for Justin Jefferson ahead of Tyreek Hill after last year. There has to be Tyreek Hill first, then Justin Jefferson. TJ Watt at number 8, I think is fine. I think he should be higher personally. Not going to really touch on that too much. Right? He took home Defensive Player of the Year in 2021 after posting 22.5 sacks. He's led the NFL in sacks 3 times, including last year. Right? So just keep that in mind. TJ Watt led the NFL in sacks last year. Didn't really get a sniff of the Defensive Player of the Year award, strangely. Max Crosby at number 9, I like it. A lot of edge rushers, 4 in the top 10 is outrageous. Availability is the best ability, but talent is helpful too. Luckily for the Raiders, Max Crosby offers both in spades. He was the only defensive lineman to have 1,000 snaps in 2023, leading D-line in play time for the second consecutive season. That's what I love and adore about Max Crosby. He's my favorite defensive player in the league. And I think he's the best run defending edge in the league too. Trent Williams at number 10, that's fine. I just don't understand how Josh Allen is not in the top 10. And for that matter, Joe Burrow as well. Let's be fair. There are 4 quarterbacks that have a bigger impact in the sport than any other quarterback. They should, if you're going to put quarterbacks' importance into this list, they've got to be higher. Now, that being said, Josh Allen, period, has got to be higher. You can make an argument against Burrow because he hasn't been healthy. But Allen, again, guys, I'm on my Allen crusade. I do not give a you-know-what. I do not care. If you do not have Josh Allen in your top 5 players in the NFL, you are smoking something. You are on drugs. Okay, let's talk about it. 16 NFL quarterbacks have posted at least 2,000 dropbacks over the past 4 years. While there's a significant gap between Mahomes and Allen in EPA per dropback during that span, there's another enormous chasm, interesting word choice, between Allen and the rest of the league. So he's saying that Allen is clearly the second best quarterback in the NFL, except he has Lamar number 3, and Allen number 11, bro. You are not making any sense. Also, using EPA as the one stat to reflect quarterback play, I don't love that, personally. Try touchdowns, where Josh Allen had the most touchdowns in the NFL once again last year, despite not having a great offense around him. Allen doesn't have a Super Bowl ring or much hardware, but he's among the best single callers since the decade began, obviously. Joe Burrow. While injuries have taken Joe Burrow out, the Bengals were a few plays away from winning the Super Bowl and advancing in the AFC title game. He led the NFL in touchdown rate. That's an interesting stat in 2021 through 2022. Ranked second in EPA plus CPOE composite. Look at these metrics, bro. Completion percentage above expected, if you're wondering what that is. Second, and finished third in adjusted net yards per attempt. Okay. Sure. I don't mind that. Nick Bosa at 13, don't mind that either. CeeDee Lamb at 14, don't mind that either. I think both players are phenomenal players. I think CeeDee Lamb put himself into the third best receiver in the NFL this past year with his production. He led the NFL in receptions. He was second in yards and touchdowns, right? 1,749 yards, 12 touchdowns, league lead, 135 catches. Okay, he can run a route from any alignment. I like that sentence. Nick Bosa, 2022 Defensive Player of the Year. I thought he had a little bit of an underwhelming season last year. He was double teamed at a 26% clip, according to this man here, and only Parsons and Garrett saw more extra attention. Okay, good stat. Good stat. He finished second to Parsons in total pressures. I thought he was first. He did see a dip in sacks, though, right? 18.5 to 10.5 is pretty drastic. Penei Sewell, another really respectful list to Penei Sewell. Again, I think Tristan Wirfs is better than Penei Sewell. I don't know. You guys can debate a wall, but that's just my opinion, okay? I don't know. Penei Sewell's fantastic. He is the best right tackle in the NFL, but that's only because Tristan Wirfs moved to the left. That's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm going to say. You guys might not like it. Chris Jones, defensive tackle. Yeah, he's the best defensive tackle in the league. Although I think there's another one that's relatively close. Jamar Chase at 17. Okay. Yeah, I have him as the fourth best receiver, so he's not necessarily out of order. But based on last year, I wouldn't necessarily say he'd be in the top 20 players in the NFL just because, he did have his first ever 100 reception season, right? Even without Joe Burrow, that's impressive. Now, what does he say here? He's tied for the second in receiving touchdowns and ranked 7th in receiving yards during the span since 2021. Okay. That's pretty impressive. He became one of the highest paid receivers in the only 5 receivers, including Randy Moss, Jerry Rice, and Odell Beckham Jr., scored more touchdowns than Chase over their first 3 seasons. Interesting. Yeah, he's a stud, and he's very young, too. Dexter Lawrence is the defensive tackle I was referring to that's close to Chris Jones, in my opinion. There's no other NFL player quite like Dexter Lawrence. He's one of the league's best pass rushers, despite being 6'4", 340 pounds. Right, 65 pressures in 2023. He's regularly double-teamed at a 71% rate. He already owns the top 2 QB hit seasons, 28 in 2022 and 21 in 2023 among players weighing at least 340 pounds. That's a weird metric. Fred Warner at 18. I honestly think he's a little bit overrated. I think he's very, very good. I would have Roquan Smith ahead of Fred Warner on my linebacker list, and I probably will once I end up ranking them, which I haven't ranked them yet, but it will likely happen. Sauce Gardner as the best corner in the league is fair, and him being in the top 20 is fair. So far, I mostly like this list. I have small complaints. At number 21, Travis Kelce. Okay, I feel like I might not like the list at the end, but we'll see what happens. Travis Kelce, again, fair, but, didn't look like the same player in the regular season, turned it on in the postseason. Aiden Hutchinson, I think he's probably graded correctly. He's probably the next edge rusher. Although, is he better than A.J. Brown? Is he better than these players coming up? If Antoine Winfield is the best safety in the league, in your opinion, and Kyle Hamilton is second, and then you're going to put the sixth best edge rusher at number 22. I don't know about that, bro. That seems a little bit a little bit heavy on the positional value. But let's see what they say about Aiden Hutchinson. His sack production only increased from 9.5 to 11.5, but his underlying metrics made a much more significant leap. Yes, that is right. Triple-digit pressure totals are rarefied air. Future Hall of Famers like Donald and J.J. Watt hit the mark, while Crosby and Parsons reached 100 pressures after the NFL added a 17th game. Yeah, Hutchinson had a ton of pressures last year. A.J. Brown, I respect it. Amon-Ra, I think, is a bit too high, personally, but I think he's top 40. Antoine Winfield, Kyle Hamilton, that's fair. Two best safeties in the league, in my opinion. George Kittle. See, I'd have Wirfs and Roquan ahead of George Kittle, personally. But, I mean, again, not too mad about it. Quinnen Williams at number 31. I think that's fair. I actually really like this ranking for Quinnen Williams. I think that he is, again, I say this every time, like his sacks were not great, 5.5 after putting up 12 in 2022, but those numbers don't tell the entire story. He finished second behind Donald and Jones in interior pressures and ranked 8th among defensive tackles in pass rush win rate. Williams simply got unlucky when converting pressures to sacks. Yes, although I did not know that to be the case, when you watch him play, that is totally correct. Okay. Dak Prescott at number 32 is simply outrageous, being the 5th quarterback ranked on this list. Now, if you were to base this just on last year's regular season and you did not watch the playoffs, then I guess that's fine. But I think that most people would take CJ Stroud, Justin Herbert, and Matthew Stafford over Dak Prescott. Cowboys fans might not. Is he a Cowboys fan, this guy? Dak Prescott is the worst ranking on this list so far. I like Dak. I like him. But. He's not better than those guys. I'm sorry. I would not rather have him in a big game, a big clutch drive. He's never proven it to me in those moments. He's always had a good offensive line. He's always had receivers. Now he has a defense. He can't get them to the next level. That is on the quarterback. At a certain point, the quarterback's got to get you there if your team is that damn loaded around you. So Dak is good. Dak had a great year last year. But number 32 player in the NFL, I don't know, bro. I don't know. Pat Surtain at number 33, I kind of feel is a little bit overrated, personally. Because his 2023, like just statistically speaking, was not as great or nearly as great as 2022. That's life as an NFL corner, which is fair, but I think this is kind of like not really justifying, the performance of 2023. If you're going to put Dak at 32 based on his performance in 2023, which you're saying he's a second team All-Pro in 2023, second MVP votes, whatever, Pat Surtain being not as good in 2023 has to matter more than that, right? Broncos defense was a disaster early last year. Surtain's coverage numbers dipped during that stretch. Still, he's typically as reliable. See, he didn't really mention any stats here. So that tells me that I think he overrated him a little bit. And I don't think he was also an All-Pro. If I'm wrong, let me know. Jordan Mailata, that's fine. CJ Stroud, I like the ranking. A 6th best quarterback, I would have him ahead of Dak Prescott. Now let's see what he says about him. CJ Stroud could hardly have been more impressive. Okay. The number 2 overall pick led the NFL in passing yards per game as a rookie and interception rate as a rookie, showing a rare blend of aggressiveness and patience while looking like a 10-year veteran. Do you know why? Because he's the most accurate quarterback in the NFL. The ball does simply never get lost. Jalen Ramsey at 36. Okay, seems high, but that's okay. Jalen Johnson, 37. I actually really like this Brandon Ayuk ranking. Jalen Johnson, I feel like, is pretty much correctly rated. Had a great season last year. See, you could tell that he's wrong about Pat Surtain because Jalen Johnson, he lists all these stats, right? Like he lists completion rate, yards per target, yards per completion. So keep it consistent. Brandon Ayuk, I think he's right on with Brandon Ayuk. I mean, where does he have him? Like, I guess he has a lot of receivers on the list, though. He's got so I think A.J. Brown's 5. St. Brown's 6. Adams is 7. You guys will see where I have Ayuk. I have him higher on my wide receiver rankings. But I think he's probably right based on just like the overall ranking of 38. And this is an intriguing topic because of the trade rumors, right? He was a second-team All-Pro. I actually didn't know that. 75 catches, 1,342 yards, 7 touchdowns. Nearly every advanced metric likes Ayuk's production as he ranked first in ESPN's receiving tracking score. Never heard of that. This guy's going deep on the stats, bro. I appreciate it. Jesse Bates. I think he should probably be higher than someone like Brandon Ayuk. I think he's probably the best free safety in the NFL. That alone deserves some sort of accolade. Laramie Tunsil, that's fair. I think he's arguably the best pass blocking offensive lineman, or he's in the conversation. Chris Lindstrom is one of the best guards in the league. I think he has him first. Lindstrom had always been a powerful run blocker, but his work in the passing game showed clear improvement in 2023. Just 15 pressures and 3 sacks in 500 attempts. Spatial awareness and functional strength make him an asset to an underrated Falcons offensive line. Lane Johnson, I would say, should be a little bit higher than Lindstrom, personally. But that's fair, you know. Jalen Hurts is way too high. Apparently, Jalen Hurts is the 7th best quarterback in the NFL. Wow. No. How many GMs would take Jalen Hurts over Justin Herbert? I'm not sure, bro. I'm really not sure. Other than these quarterback rankings, I think the list is pretty darn good. Trey Hendrickson. Okay, Trey Hendrickson's underrated. I'd have Trey Hendrickson ahead of... I forgot about him. So where's Aiden Hutchinson? Aiden Hutchinson is 20... Holy smokes, bro. 22nd. And Trey Hendrickson is 44th. Guys, Trey Hendrickson had 17 and a half sacks last year. And Deion Dawkins, a real life, one of the best left tackles in the NFL, said that he was the toughest block in the NFL. Trey Hendrickson underrated once again. Demario Davis, 45. I respect it. 46, Derek Brown, I think is overrated, but that's just my opinion. He played the 3rd most snaps among defensive tackles last year. Was arguably as valuable as any interior defensive lineman in the league. I would disagree because he does not provide enough pass rushing capability. Let's see what he says. Brown set an NFL record for tackles by a defensive lineman. I did not know that, but that is very impressive. He is a hell of a run defender. He ranked first in ESPN's run stop win rate, okay, 47%, and posted more stops, tackles that result in negative EPA for the offense than any defensive tackle per PFF. So yeah, amazing run defender. 46 might be fine. 46 might be fine. I might have been exaggerating, you know, now that I think about it, but I just wish he would put up more pass rushing stats. That's just me. Trent McDuffie, 47. Again, I think every list has him ahead of L'Jarius Sneed, but I think L'Jarius Sneed was better than him last year, but I still think both are top 50 players. Charvarius Ward, I think is fair, 48, maybe a little too high. Frank Ragnow at 49, I think is the best center in the league. I don't think I've seen a center yet, and that's fine. L'Jarius Sneed, okay, at least he's only a couple spots below Trent McDuffie. One of the most versatile corners in the NFL, Sneed spent most of his time in the slot early in the Chiefs' career before playing every snap on the perimeter in 2023. Yes. Justin Herbert is too low. He is 51st. This is too low. Justin Herbert hasn't achieved the same level of team success as other quarterbacks on the list, but he's been a high-end passer. Posted a 60-plus QBR in all 4 of his campaigns, setting a career high in 2021. one of the most physically talented QBs in the NFL. Herbert should finally get his flowers if and when the Chargers start winning games under Harbaugh. Yeah, that will be in 2025. Matthew Stafford, okay, at least he's not too far behind, but I think Herbert and Stafford are better than Hurts and Dak. Mark Andrews is too high, I think. He just barely played last year. He's a great player. He deserves to be in the top 100, but he's too high. 53 for a guy that barely played last year, and, his numbers have dipped as of late. I think Josh Hines Allen, apparently that's his new name, ranks second in the league with 17.5 sacks. He should be higher. Brock Purdy at number 55 is insanity, considering that Colin Cowherd doesn't think he's a top 12 quarterback, and apparently Kyle Shanahan also sucks as a coach, but they went to the Super Bowl. That's, again, in the past. It's in the past, Mitch. It's in the past. But Brock Purdy at number 55. No quarterback was as efficient in 2023 as Brock Purdy. Yes, EPA per play, which is kind of a scheme stat, as I mentioned already. Few signal callers have as talented of a supporting cast or better coaching than Purdy, yes. However, the former 7th round pick improved both as a distributor and off-schedule playmaker. I agree. I agree with your take on Purdy. I just think he's a little bit too high. Just a little bit. I think your quarterbacks are just too high in general, bro. Puka Nacua, okay. Again, receivers are too high on the list. He's like the 10th best receiver in the league. He's 56th football player. Minka Fitzpatrick, I think that's fair. Jordan Love at number 58 is outrageous. I mean, I had him as the 10th best quarterback in the league, and he's 58? He finished second in the NFL at touchdown passes. I consider myself a Jordan Love fan. I would never have him 58. Cooper Kupp at 59. Durkant would laugh you out of the building, bro. Yes, he won the NFL's Triple Crown in 2021, which was like 4 years ago. 3 years ago, actually. But come on, man. Really? Cooper Kupp at 59? I don't even think he's on my list. If he is, he's right at the bottom. Joe Tooney is a better player than Cooper Kupp at this point. Cooper Kupp, again, he was like 28th in yards per game. He was like 31st in yards per route run this year. Like, you can name stats where he's not even a top 30 receiver last year. So to me, that's too high. Creed Humphrey is arguably the best center in the league. He's better than I don't even know where he has Cooper Kupp, 15th best receiver at this point. Christian Darrisaw deserves to be on the list. Justin Madubuike deserves to be on the list. I guess that's fair placement. Sam Laporta, I think I'd have him ahead of Mark Andrews at this point, but I think I'd lower both of them. Quincy Williams, I'm glad to see him on the list. Seeing Tua Tagovailoa at number 66 best player in the NFL wants to make me puke. Yeah. Damn, bro. Tua Tagovailoa at number 66 in the NFL. I am going to puke. Zach Martin, still phenomenal player. Khalil Mack, like the recognition, 17 sacks last year, still playing at a very high level. Derrick Henry. Was Derrick Henry the second-ranked running back? Hold on, guys. So Derrick Henry is the second best running back in the NFL, according to this man, and according to Pro Football Network. And Christian McCaffrey is number 5, right? Christian McCaffrey is number 5. Derrick Henry is number 69. And Christian McCaffrey should be higher then. Why is Christian McCaffrey only number 5 if the next best running back in the NFL is 69th? I also disagree that Derrick Henry is the second best running back in the NFL, as you guys know. But I can't really disrespect it because it is the king. Christian Wilkins should be higher. Danielle Hunter should be higher. Deebo Samuel, that's fine. Stud. Matt Milano, I'm glad that he's still on the list despite an injured season. I think he's the 3rd best or 4th best linebacker, maybe 5th best in the league. He's in the top 5, right? But it is hard to rank somebody that basically missed the entire season last year, though. Mike Evans, of course, he should be on the list. Also, Mike Evans below Cooper Kupp is outrageous. It's outrageous. Mike Evans below Cooper Kupp. One guy led the NFL in touchdowns last year, and one guy barely could stay on the field. Deron Bland. Hate that one. Bijan Robinson at 76. Yeah, that's fine. It's a little bit of a projection, I think. Jalen Waddle at number 77. Okay, whatever. DeMarcus Lawrence at number 78. Sure. Aaron Rodgers is not a top 100 player. If he is, he's like 100. Javon, I don't get the whole, like, every list that I see of Aaron Rodgers in the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, have these people watched Aaron Rodgers play lately? Have these people, he didn't even play last year. He's coming off an Achilles injury. Come on, guys. If you think Aaron Rodgers is the 80th best player in the NFL, you should be picking the Jets to go to the Super Bowl. I'm just going to put that out there. Okay, and so anybody watching this video, Javon Holland at 79 is a good pick. Number 81, Jeff Simmons, that's totally cool. TJ Hawkinson at 82, I'd probably lower him, but that's fine. Saquon is not a top 100 player, in my opinion, as like the 7th best running back in the league. Tyron Smith at number 84, he had a great season last year. This is the stat that shows it. Smith handled one-on-one pass blocking situations on 84.5% of his snaps. That's the 3rd highest, and his 6.7 pressure rate was the lowest. Best mark in the NFL. Brian Burns, I think, is a bit overrated. See, he probably won't bring up any stats. You know a player is overrated if he doesn't bring up any stats in his argument. He put at least 8 sacks and 18 quarterback hits in 4 straight years. Okay, that's not really relevant to 2023, but I guess that's fine. In terms of like consistency, Brian Burns is like a top 12 edge rusher, but in terms of last year, he didn't play that well. Nick Chubb is definitely top 100. Stephon Diggs, honestly, I don't think I'd have him in my top 100 projecting forward, but based on the past, yes, I understand that. I actually want to read what he says about Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs' 2023 stats were undoubtedly concerning. Okay, that's not a good start. He posted his fewest yards and yards per reception since 2018, his second to last season with the Vikings. Diggs went from 7th to 31st in yards per route run. Yep. I brought that up in my wide receiver rankings. He slipped from 4th to 67th in ESPN tracking metrics. So to me, like Diggs, again, he didn't really say anything here that made me persuade me to change my opinion. It only made it worse. Trayvon Diggs, I think he's better than Deron Bland, but he was injured last year. DJ Moore, I think he should be higher based on some of the guys that are above him. Jair Alexander, fine, I guess. Jalen Carter, that's fine. Trevor Lawrence, no, he's not in my top 100. He's like the 15th best quarterback in the league. Devontae Smith at number 93, again, not top 100. If you're not in the top 20 receivers in the NFL for me, you're not in the top 100. Like, I just think there's too many receivers and too many quarterbacks on this list. Christian Barmore, shout out, love it. Always a dependable interior presence. Barmore broke out with a career year in 2023. He's only had like 3 seasons. Setting new highs in sacks, tackles for loss of quarterback hits. Still ascending. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Love it. Rashawn Slater, great player. Xavier McKinney, great player. Denzel Ward, yeah, okay. Cameron Hayward, I like that he's still included Cameron Hayward here. Because yes, he did have a bad 2023, but he was injured the whole year. So, yeah. Tyler Linderbaum should be higher, I think, probably. And DeForest Buckner should be way higher. I don't understand the DeForest Buckner hate. This is multiple lists I've seen DeForest Buckner way too low. He doesn't have any honorable mentions, it looks like. So that's the top 100 by Pro Football Network. Guys, let me know in the comments what you guys think. I went through it. I read a lot of the articles, a lot of the little speeches there. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree with the Pro Football Network top 100. I don't think it was a bad list at all. I just think there was way too many quarterbacks, way too many receivers, and a lot of them were overrated. That was my main problem with it. If I made a top 100, I'd have a lot more balanced. I'd probably have more offensive linemen. But, of course, there are some positions that are better than others, right? Like, receiver is one of the best positions in the league, but it's also one of the easiest to look like you're really good because you're a receiver. It's not like playing corner, where corner you're blamed for everything, right? Like edge rusher, there's a lot of great edge rushers, but unless you're really watching them like not fill a gap in the run game, are fans really blaming their edge rusher for sucking? Like, no, they're going to blame their left tackle. They're going to blame their quarterback. They're going to blame their cornerback, right? Those are the positions where people are heavily critical of their players, right? So if you're playing a position like receiver, everybody loves you because you catch the ball, right? But yeah, this is just my opinion. Gronk, spike the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Peace. 100 likes.